representing the Trade Unions and Socialist Coalition, Hugo Pierre.
Well, thank you very much, Chair, for inviting me to come to the meeting. We have got the judgment from the unelected judge, who's based his evidence, his decision on hearsay evidence, and a decision I think that Eric Pickles wanted to hear. Pickles sent in his first wave of attack against the council and against democracy, and he used hearsay evidence in that, which was the PricewaterhouseCoopers report. And we'd have to say they produced a dodgy dossier. They produced a dossier that was full of things that they couldn't substantiate. But who are PricewaterhouseCoopers to lecture us? The same company that is prepared, along with the HSBC, to advise multinational companies that they should relocate their money from Britain to avoid tax and go and spend it in Switzerland and put it in Swiss bank accounts, thereby avoiding tax. And also the colleague of Eric Pickles himself, who was one of his colleagues who knows about fraud, Dame Shirley Porter, who was had £27 million fine because of electoral fraud that she committed when she was the leader of Westminster Council. And I have to say, probably the most staggering parts of the judgment was that that judge denies that racism exists at all, but especially in the borough of Tower Hamlets. He says that the EDL wasn't a threat. He even went as far, I thought, which was the most outrageous thing, to say that we would even invent the EDL as a bogeyman for racism in this borough if it didn't actually exist. Where was he when homes were firebombed in this borough? Where was he when there were racist attacks? Where was he when the nail bomber was on our streets in Brick Lane? He was nowhere to be seen, but I was there fighting alongside our community. And I think that we need to match the anger that we see that will be against the undemocratic decision of this judge with the anger that's on the street against the austerity measures that take place. And I think that we would have mass demonstrations on the street of this borough if we had councillors here that prepared not to implement a single Tory cut. And I appeal to our councillors to do that. And I say that if I'm elected in this borough, I, along with Glyn, will do everything we can to oppose the austerity measures that are being pushed by the mainstream parties, and especially including the Labour Party, who are prepared to stand for £30 billion worth of cuts after the next election.